think. It says live. Should be live. I don't know. Am I live? Is anybody out there? Gotta be some people online right now. I know there's some people. It's got it. What's up, dude? How's it going? Well, what's up? What's going on, Adrian? If you haven't checked your email in the last half an hour, you may not know this yet. 40 minutes or so. The first ever video game population report is out, and we got to talk about this. I mean, I was not planning to do work tonight, in this sense of work anyway. But this is as of 8 o'clock on 11/29/2021. Our market just entered a new phase. As mad as I am at Wata about a lot of things, I got to give credit for being the first ones to do this. VGA certainly had its 23 years to put out a pop report of any kind whatsoever. I will say they used to give populations out much more freely than what they did for the last year or so. Pop report is only NES. No later consoles. It's not going to tell you how to buy PS2. But this is revealing, just straight up freaking nuts. If you haven't looked, go ahead and look. I think it's some long chain, but WataGames.com will get you to their site, /populations/NES. We'll probably bring up this document. Let's see if that works. Before I tell people to do this. So, WataGames.com, population reports, NES. Let's see if this brings up the article. Maybe not. Yeah, so this is this is the moment that we've been waiting for a long time. Yeah, maybe this is not going to work, but you have to have a long streak. They sent around an email, view pop report. Let's see if it just resolves to this long stream. I'm trying to think if I can give you actually, well, the / should be enough. It's got a redirect after that, so I think if you type in WataGames.com /populations /NES / I think my internet's not going so well, but I think it should get you there. Let's see. I don't know why this is not working. This should work. Anyway, big day, big time in the market. And I just figured a lot of people are going to have questions, so why not get on and talk about it? If you haven't gotten there yet, my internet's acting all wacky, but WataGames.com takes you to the homepage, and I imagine it's like, why is this not working? Of course, nothing works whenever. Internet's been terrible. I don't know if anybody else has Optimum out there, but God, another company I just absolutely hate right now. Cannot get to Wata. Come on. Unreal. Well, see if you can look it up. Wata. No, not Wata. I've got it up anyway. The first entry on this chart, and it does not list. It can list the game as by. Let's see if I can show you, in case you haven't seen. So this is what we're looking at. Population report. Why is this? There we go. So it should show by the game name. Then it has variations under it if there are variations to the game. If there's not, then it does not list anything. And it lists the number of total submissions as well as for each box score. It does not list any seal ratings on there, so we don't know the seal ratings here. But what we can say definitively is that Wata has only graded 12 total copies of 10-Yard Fight for NES, right? So those could be, there's 2 hang tabs, 1 no Rev A, and 9 Rev A's. This game did not have an oval seal production, so there would be no ovals here. Basically, there's 3 different revisions that make up 12 copies total graded by this company. Now, Wata's only been around for 3 years, fine, but that's still a shockingly low number. And this is what we've been waiting. This is what a lot of people, this is going to get a lot of money off the sidelines, because this is showing in black and white data that can't, let's for the time being, at least, since there's no reason to assume any of this is doctored in any way, shape, or form. Let's assume that all of this is just data and pure fact, right? Then there's probably more than 12 copies of 10-Yard Fight out there, but probably not a ton, right? So let's say VGA has an equal number amount, but some of those VGA copies were crossed over to Wata. So I don't know. Let's call 12. Let's be generous. Let's call 12 20. Right? Let's give it another 8. That's like an increase of 66%. Let's call it 20. And still, there's 20 copies of this football game sealed out there in the world. That's it. 20 copies. That's being generous. There's probably, could be closer to 14 or 15. Certainly doesn't have to be a margin that's off by that much. For something like 10-Yard Fight, being that it's a black box, there are probably more examples of that one in VGA cases still in existence. So yeah, there's 10-Yard Fight's not necessarily something that may not have been graded that much by VGA, or something that may have been crossed over very heavily. Might have less copies out there. Let's take one that sold drastically underpriced the other day. Something that people don't really know about. Let's take Rampage, one that is one of my favorite games. So, this is stupid low. Actually, though, the numbers are interesting here. Rampage has 20 total copies graded by Wata. Now, if you've ever watched a heritage auction, the way that these come up, there's been probably 5, 6, 7, 8 copies of Rampage come up. Well, out of those 8, copies that have hit actually probably now it's closer to probably 10 or 12. So 10 or 12 copies. We should look this up on Heritage. Well, let's say there's 10 copies, right? Just pick a round number. That's 50% of the Rampages out there have been listed for sale on Heritage. That's not a trend that's going to continue to happen. After this shit stops getting passed around from person to person, all of it eventually gets consumed. For example, I know people who have bought lots of Tysons and are just sitting on them and they've consumed them. They're not out of the market anymore. So there's less Tysons out there. We'll go look at that one in a second. For Rampage, only being 20, that means when 20 people who want to have that in their collection and don't want to sell it for any amount of money, those 20 are off the market. Of those 20, only 6 of them are round seals, which is actually a bigger number than I expected, by about 1 or 2. I was expecting probably 4. maybe 5. So six is one more than I expected, which is pretty substantial. It's a 16% difference. But let's look at Mike Tyson's Punch Out. Mike Tyson's Punch Out, 57 copies graded total. Only 3 no Rev A's, which is the earliest ones. 35 of the Rev A's and 35 ovals, 19 round seals. So, as I've told people, I actually think this is surprisingly, so 19 is roughly half of 35. That means that you're 50% less likely to find a round seal than an oval. I don't know. I thought that. Sorry, I think my internet's having problems tonight as usual. Anyway, the Mike Tyson stuff, 57 is a low number, especially when you know that there's people out there who have like 7 copies of this game. I thought it was really amazing. Let's look at Super Mario. Super Mario 1, 154 copies. Super Mario 2, 116 copies. Of those 116 copies, only 34 of them were round seals. Then the rest of them were variations of later ones. Super Mario 3, 234 sealed copies of this have been graded. Now, this is important because this is one of those things that Seth Abrahamson and what's his name, Carl, all were like pointing to like Super Mario 3's, saying, "Oh, there's not a lot of them. There's a lot of them. This game is overpopulated. You don't want to have a copy of this game." 234, and that's including challenge set stickers, sticker seal sets. That makes a 47. That means there are under 200 regular Super Mario 3's, including Left Brothers. Under 200 total that are sealed out there. So every single person who's saying out there, hey, Super Mario 3 is overvalued. There's one of the biggest games of all time. And right now, including challenge set, there's 234. Without challenge set, there's 100. What does that make it? 194, 187. 187 copies of this game, including Left Brothers. And let's see, if we take out Left Brothers, so 287, 171. There are 171 Wright Brothers copies out there. That is not a lot of people, or a lot of copies of these games. These numbers are staggering. Give all the more reason for why you want to be positioned, particularly Nintendo. Genesis is going to be even rarer than this. Game Boy, even rarer than NES. NES actually was big enough that there were copies of stuff saved. Thus, the 234, 171 copies of regular Super Mario Brothers 3 that are out there, now. A lot of those were transferred from VGA, so if VGA puts out a population of like 200 or something like that, we know that there's some still in VGA cases, but we also know that a lot of those got transferred. So I'd say maybe take 50%, if not 2/3 of whatever number VGA ends up putting out on their pop report, and convert it over into Wata, and figure that people have done so in order to capitalize on the boom. And, this is just the way that things are going. It's going to be hard to separate these numbers. You have to take them with a grain of salt. Certain things like Super Mario 3 are going to have transferred more. Now, VGA hasn't given us any population reports yet, so we don't have to worry, but they are imminent, they are coming. They have reported that they're going to be. VGA was just bought by Diamond Distribution, if you don't know that. Wata was just bought by Collectors Universe, PSA, if you don't know that. Golden, and CGC is coming out, and a lot of people think that they're going to dominate. I'm one to say that there's probably some truth in that, but we'll see. I know that CGC has made great strides. I don't know if I said that right before, but it meant CGC. CGC might dominate. I don't know. Maybe, very likely. They've made great strides in clearing their backlog. A lot of people in comics are happy with them. I know some people who are very unhappy with them, Rob. But I don't partake in comics at all, really. So I can't say one way or another. I can only tell you about gaming. And gaming wise, people are frustrated with VGA. They're frustrated with Wata. Player One's picked up some steam because of that. And CGC has got a big gaping hole open for them if they want to capitalize. So we'll see what happens. These numbers are very low in terms of collecting. I agree. Good for people who are already in. Great for people who are getting in, because what these numbers are saying is that the populations are so damn low that as people begin to understand these things. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1, there's only one revision of. There's no variants of. There's only 97 copies, under 100 copies of this game sealed, graded. Six of those are under a 6.5. Another 14 of those are 7.0 or lower. Another 23 under 8.0. So in the 9.8s there are a surprising 7. There are 6 9.6s, 10 9.4s, 16 9.2s. And again, there's 97 graded by Wata. Let's figure 150. If you want to be very generous, let's say 200 total in existence, with whatever remains still in the in VGA cases from prior. Would you consider P1 third in the pecking order currently? Well, they're third because there's only 3, really. I mean, I don't count IGS as a real player. I don't think they do games anymore. Turnaround times not being a factor. Turnaround times have to be a factor. Wata still has control of the market. I think largely, control of what market if they're not really, I don't know. I will say this is a big. This goes a long way for, I think, collectors, in my opinion. I think this goes a long way to quell some of the fact that, they've been so slow on other things. This is definitely a step forward for the community. So, the Circle Wheel of Fortune you sold me is Pop 1. Yeah, I'm not surprised, buddy. I'm happy you got it, to be honest with you. I'd do it again for you. I've known a lot of this stuff is rare. Wheel of Fortune, yeah, round seal, nice. Yeah, and it's that was a 9.6, man, a 1-1. Good job, buddy. Really cool to see those come out, and that's one of those. Decaps mentioned Wheel of Fortune. The round seal on that one is a jumbo round seal, so kind of cool. There were a lot of people who played these, games like that and Jeopardy back in the day. Wasn't one of my games, so I have some recognition of the brand name. But I'm glad it went to someone who I know you actually enjoy that more than I do. So. You sell for 100 million. Well, maybe cut me off of 1% then if you do. All right, that's all I ask. So, that's awesome, buddy. There's a lot of stuff here. I see Terra Cresta. I don't know what that is. Only one copy. Thunder Blast Man from Sachin, one copy. Toki. I didn't realize Toki that was that rare. One copy, although it is a really highly graded one. Trolls on Treasure Island. Now, that one I knew was pretty rare. I did see that come across Kenneth's desk at one point. I think he posted that. That was the game that preceded Dudes with Attitude, released by AMV, American Video Music Motion Video, or something like that. So there's a lot of really rare fucking games on here. I mean, there's just no other way to say it. I mean, you can't just say they're rare. They're stupid rare. Venice Beach Volleyball has only had 2. Something that we've all taken for granted because we've seen it go in for $134 or some shit. That has only had 2 copies created. Vice Project Doom. 17 copies graded. It seems like it's everywhere, but it's not. There's 17 copies graded. This is what's going to get people in. I bet you there's a wave of buying of NES of all of these titles. I mean, when you have one of your most graded titles, it looks like it might be 234 copies, and that's including the box variant. I mean, Zelda 2, The Adventures of Link, 105 copies graded total. Let's see how many round seals. I bet, yeah, it looks like 53 round seals. There's actually, if this is right, there's more round seals graded than ovals. In fact, that's what I was gonna. Yes, in fact, there's a lot more because this includes classic series. So something interesting is that if you're holding on to a Zelda, and I probably could have told you this before, the oval series of Zelda 2 is rarer than the round seal series. How crazy is that? That means the second print is much 50% more rare, more than 50% more rare, but 60%, 55% more rare to find than a round seal copy of Zelda 2. That's because of when it came out and the fact that it already had a big following from Zelda 1. So, you get a different wave of buying, you get a different buying pattern of this game than you would other games because of that. By the time the round seal came out, people were Zelda fans by then. And so, a lot of people rushed out and bought the round seals, and a lot of people got those as presents and put the second copy in their closet and forgot about it. Less people went out and bought a copy of that game in oval after it got converted and forgot about it. Most of those people went home and played it. So I think that's sort of it's sort of an interesting explanation for how these things come to be. Let's look. Wrecking Crew, 5 copies of Wrecking Crew. One of the games that's near and dear to my heart, and one of my buddies here. Excitebike. I want to see what the populations is of Excitebike. Excitebike has a whopping 26 copies. 26 copies. It has one hang tab copy. I know who has that. Oh no, that's a gloss sticker seal hang tab. That's wow. So there's a gloss sticker Excitebike out there. That's amazing. 2 hang tabs. 17 Reve round seals. And 6 ovals. So again, a case where the oval seal is rarer than the round seal. Now, does that make it more valuable? Being that there's 4 different revisions listed here, and that's negating the ones that haven't been found. I don't know. That's the market's going to have to figure that one out. But yeah, this is going to get nuts. Is kind of the point. So. What do you guys think? I mean, what are you? What's going through your minds? I mean, are games that are already in post grading and just waiting to be encapsulated, populated? No, they are not populated to this list. This list, if you look, this list is as of last month, last updated 10/31/2021. This list will probably be updated at the end of the month in a couple days. My thinking is that they did this. I think there's been pressure on them to do this from a lot of people, but also particularly their biggest client, Heritage, has the the NES through N64 auction coming up, and there's been pressure on them to get this out. I think before that, because this will set there's going to be buying records after this. Like, even people who know this now see it in black and white are going to be willing to put more money behind it, because not necessarily because it changes their view of things, but it solidifies their view, and now they know other people can see it too, and they're going to be willing to take bigger bets. We are off to the markets. I'm telling you, buy what you can over the next week before the markets go up. I mean, before you see it. The markets just went up tonight. The markets just went up. Your games are worth more NES through N64, your games are worth more now than they were worth 2 hours ago. That just happened. We haven't fully reconciled with the fact that just happened. So over the next week, you're going to see prices rising. Once we have this auction go off, and Metropolis as well has a major, major auction going off. Go to Comic Connect and go check out the shit there. Fucking amazing. It's going to be off to the races. We are going to go through the next boundary now. I've been saying this since day one. You see it in black and white. There's fucking 2 copies of a lot of these games. If that doesn't mean anything to you, you don't belong here. You've got to go and do something else. If you want to be in this game, this is the game right now. This is game time. If you didn't bring your game face, go sit on the sidelines. I'm saying, this is the time to capitalize on this. I'm going to be telling my relatives, I'm going to be telling other people, this is the time to buy, because we're just about, this is the week. This is the last week where you're going to get a little bit of tame prices. We're going to see this shit go up. I don't know. Who cares about Golden on some level, man? I hear you. Golden starts this Tuesday, but at the same time, it's going to be about the Heritage auction, and I think Metropolis is going to take it to another level as well. And then I think Golden ends after that. Golden will hopefully finish well, but Golden has other issues. Golden's had a technology problem. Golden has a betting problem. Golden has a few things going on with it that I don't want to get into tonight. The point is that on the back of the population data, anything NES, if you don't get it, get out. Adventures of Dino Riki. This is one of those games that people have been kicking around thinking that it's dirt because it comes up in the auction so much. 11 graded copies of this game, and yet it's been passed around so much because people know that it's rare, and yet it looks like it's not rare. This is a game that people are going to go out and buy. It has 11 copies out there, and it's a pretty awesome graphics, a pretty awesome game. There's a lot of this stuff. There's a lot of it. The Adventures of Rad Gravity, we've all seen that circulating. 4 copies total graded. I don't know. What are some of the other ones? There's just a lot. There's a lot. Bases Loaded. I love this series. Bases Loaded 1, 13 copies total. Round Seal 7 copies. I used to have one of those. Bases Loaded 2, 9 copies. Bases Loaded 3, 10 copies. Bases Loaded 4, 7 copies. My 9.8 is at Metropolis right now. They are the proud owners of that set. If you're into Bases Loaded, that 9.8 just became worth triple, in my opinion. We'll see in the next couple days. But we're not going to have to wait long to see this, right? You got your best golden values from Golden. That's because you were on the buying side. If you're on the selling side, then you don't want to see people getting values. If you're on the selling side, you want to see people, breaking records, right? And even if you're on the buying side, breaking a record could be good for you because it sets the precedent that we're still going higher, right? Hard to say, but Jackie Chan. What about Jackie Chan, dude? What else did I miss? Metal Storm. What's Duck Hunt? Well, I want to see what Duck Hunt is. I had a Duck Hunt I sold to Metropolis as well. 11 copies. Jeez. 2 hang tabs. 1 no Rev A, and 8 Rev A round seal copies. Now that's crazy because there again, this was one that didn't have an oval seal to it. So the last rendition of this was the Rev A round seal. 8 is not a lot. Even less than that, Dudes with Attitude, 6 copies total. Only 1 revision. Elevator Action, 3 copies. Everett and Lendl in Top Players Tennis, 4 copies. These are not, these numbers are so stupid. Final Fantasy, 62 copies. There are only 62 copies of the first Final Fantasy graded in Wata cases. Let that process through your brain. 62. 62. That's not 620. It's not 6,200. That's 62. That's insane. That's insane. This is fucking insane. If this doesn't get you hard, I don't know what does. Like this shit is crazy. This is Firehouse Rescue, Fisher Price Firehouse Rescue. One copy graded, it's a 9.4. Fisher Price, I can remember. I sold another one of these to Metropolis. It's a 9.8. There's 3 copies graded. I mean, this is disgusting. You're going to be looking through this like, why did I ever sell an NES game ever? Friday the 13th, a game I know there's a lot of out there. There are a lot of Friday the 13th. Almost evenly split. Well, no, not almost evenly split. The round seal is twice as hard as the oval to get total of 105. So 70 for the round, 69 for the oval, 35, 36. I don't know what the hell this means, but yeah, roughly, a third. G.I. Joe, that white one that Eric bought the other day, I believe it was, 2 copies. Funhouse, 2 copies. I mean, this list it's incredible looking at it. Like, you knew that there was like small populations of a lot of this stuff. But how many copies do you think there were of Ghostbusters 2? Here we got, for Ghostbusters 2, I would have probably said 50. There's 12. Ghosts and Goblins has almost the same number, 10. Ghoul School has 4. I have a copy of that. You're almost like anything you see with like these low of Goonies 2, a game people have been sleeping on. Oval Seal 11, Round Seal 2, No Rev A 2. Total of 15 copies of the Goonies 2. That is not a lot, and that is a game that like everyone, I feel like, wouldn't mind having have it on their dresser. So, yeah, this is nuts. I mean, Bo Jackson 11. Yeah, I had a 9.8 in Bo Jackson baseball. It's like, what do you do? You're like, this stuff. I think all this stuff becomes gold. There's a few games but there's virtually nothing in triple digits. The Legend of Zelda at 125. Metal Gear in 45. Metroid 60. Relatively, it's a lot. I mean, there's more copies of Metroid than there are Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. So Mickey Mousecapade, 19 copies of Mickey Mousecapade. There is only 1 copy with the blank offer removed. That's cool to find out. Only 5 copies of Mickey Safari in Letterland. This is a game I thought had gone crazy as well. Like, I thought there were a lot of copies. The highest copy of Mickey's Safari in Letterland is a 9.4. The highest copy of Mickey's Adventure in Numberland is a 9.4. Both limited to 5 copies total. That is so dumb. I mean, it's just these numbers are so encouraging and so important. They're what everybody's been saying, and yet there's been these dissenters like the Abrahamsons who are saying, oh, there's 50,000 copies of these. Well, that's just not true, and now we learned that tonight. And I think get your money into some NES if it wasn't already. Monster in My Pocket, the highest grade is a 9.6. I gave my 9.6 to someone on here, I believe, if he's still here. And you know what? That's if there's only 2 9.6s, 7 total copies graded. Another great one to be in. Just some amazing rarity here. Really, really cool. It's so incredible. It really just is. It's so incredible. Ninja Gaiden 33 copies, Ninja Gaiden 2 28 copies, and Ninja Gaiden 3 8 copies. We knew this. We knew this These are maybe even smaller than we knew. We knew that Ninja Gaiden 3 was always the hardest one to find. Ninja Gaiden 2, roughly the same difficulty to find as Ninja Gaiden 1, but Ninja Gaiden 1's always had a higher price tag because it has about the same number of copies as Ninja Gaiden 2, and everybody wants Ninja Gaiden 1, right? So, these are good numbers for Ninja Gaiden, honestly. 33 is a perfect number for Ninja Gaiden 1. And, it has no variations on that. It looks like the second one has an R versus, TM? No, a USA code reversed or correct. Reversed. I don't know. I don't know that that'll ever make much of a difference with that market. We'll see. I mean, it's going to take a lot of maturity for a lot of this stuff to really gain some of the steam. Some of these variations, when you get into let's go back to this one. So the box top reversed happened on 8 different copies of 28 copies. So 20 copies were corrected, 8 copies were wrong of Ninja Gaiden 2. It's going to take a while before we break down that market into and decide whether that reversed or corrected is worth more. And I don't think we need to worry about stuff like that right now. If you have one of the reversed and you like the fact that it's more rare, hold on to it. If you have one that's corrected and you think that that's going to win the day, hold on to it. I mean, if you love the game either way, just hold on to it. I mean, it's going up. And it's got, all of these are headed up. You can, these proper, is there a site to follow along? Yeah, so basically go to Wata Games. Let's see if we can do this. It was not working earlier, but yeah. If you go to watagames.com/populations/NES/, you will get to the NES population reports done by, in terms of game title, box grade, no seal grades available. Basically, I wonder if this is it's sortable. Oh, they even made it sortable. The number one game, the most prevalent game out there, definitively now, Super Mario Brothers 3, with 171 copies of Wright Brothers. That is so freaking tiny. If you have any doubt about this market, leave now. Don't talk to anybody on your way out. Just get out, because if you have doubt about this at this point, this is not the market for you. You're never going to feel comfortable with it, and it's not the right match. For anyone else who is actually drooling over these numbers now, wondering how they weren't buying more this last 6 months, this is where you're supposed to be right now. We've got Super Mario 1 coming in at the second most prevalent title with 154 freaking copies. 154 copies. This is nothing, people. This is so... I mean, every Super Mario Brothers copy above a 7.5 is going to be $1 million at some point. It may not be for 5 more years or 10 more years even. Probably 5 years at this rate. But this is amazing. This is absolutely amazing. It's drool worthy. It's everything. I mean, Ninja Turtles is the 7th highest title and it has under 100 copies. Under 100 copies. Dragon Warrior is up there, under 90 copies. Dr. Mario is next, under 80 copies. Dr. Mario, everybody said, there's so many Dr. Marios out there. 79 copies. I know there were cases cracked a couple of years ago. I know that. But there was probably 3 cases cracked, or 4. 4 would still only be 24 games. And when you look at this number of 79, you're like, how the fuck is there only 79? Final Fantasy 1, 62 copies. Metroid, 60 copies. I mean... Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game, has 50 copies out there. I've always wondered about this breakdown. There are 18 no offers, 32 with the pizza offers. So the no offers are more rare by about a factor of 2 to 1. The Metal Gear Impossible Mission 2, Castlevania 2 is one of the most populated at 42. Stupid because this one has, you actually drop it by about 10 if you're looking at the round seal, which, a lot of the investors and collectors have only been concerned with the round seal, so only 33 at that point. But really, at 42, clearly the ovals have a lot more value than what we thought. There's a lot of shit here. There's a lot of value in the data that they gave us. Again, don't take it as gospel. But look, 40 copies of Disney's DuckTales. How many people love Disney's DuckTales? And how 40 copies, 41 copies of ice hockey, one of my favorite games in the world. Ice hockey with the small, medium, and fat guy. The fat guy goes slow but pushes well. The skinny guy goes fast, but it's toppled really quickly. That is 41 copies of that game. That's just stupid rare. I'm really happy to see, Mega Man 3 is the most populated Mega Man game out there at 33, and 6 of them are actually offer removes. So there are 6 graded error copies of that game. Another really interesting thing. At 33, that's the highest Mega Man I've seen so far. Mega Man 6 is the next. So Mega Man 3 actually has 7 more copies out there than Mega Man 6. I would not have guessed that. Mega Man 6 looks like it's been all over the place, and Mega Man 2 is actually more rare. Oh, Mega Man 4 must be higher up then. I must have missed Mega Man 4. So, all right, but, still... Chippendale 2, actually Chippendale 2, 9 copies of Chippendale 2 is actually a lot more than I thought there was, which gives me hope that maybe I'll get one back someday. That's one of those games that I just they're hard to get. Now they're going to be even harder. People knowing what the okay, so let's go Chippendales. I wonder, and Darkwing Duck. I wanted to see I don't see Darkwing Duck here. I wanted to see the Capcom set. Dave Dreamin' Davy, only 2 copies. I knew that was rare, but that's stupid rare. Base Wars, only 6 copies. That's rarer than I thought it was. So yeah, this is amazing data. DuckTales 2, 12 copies of DuckTales 2. Tailspin has 13 copies. The Jungle Book has 4. Little Mermaid, 14. Darkwing Duck, 16. Okay. All right, that's about right. I mean, it's crazy low. Yeah, so, I mean... We will get reports on everything else soon. I don't know how soon we're going to be getting stuff, but I would definitely suggest that, you guys spend a little bit of time familiarizing yourself with these numbers. I think going into the next couple months, and particularly the next couple auctions, there's a lot of good decisions to be had in terms of bidding on auction items. Little Nemo will hit 1 million one day. What was Little Nemo at? Little Nemo's at 5. That's nice. Yeah, I mean, Little Nemo, the sky's the limit. I mean, five copies of anything is just, yeah, it's really low. Little Samson has 3, so that it gives you a good comparison right there. Like one of the most rarest, most talked about Grail games out there is Little Samson. It has 2 9.4s and an 8.0 out there graded. I know there's another VGA copy out there, so we know there's at least 4 copies. If not, oh, you know what? That 8.0 might be the one that could have been converted. So, well, we know there's at least 3. So whatever the number is, I mean, Little Nemo has 2 more copies than Little Samson. So I mean, it's just you gotta take these. You gotta kind of like understand. Lemmings has only 1 copy graded, and it's a 6.5. So if you see Lemmings in any sort of decent shape, like even like an 8.5, you would then have you'd have the nicest copy of Lemmings in the world, right? That's startling, but like if you get a 7.5, you would have the nicest copy of Lemmings in the world. Lethal Weapon has only 2 copies, so a 9.4, and you're tied for first, right? I mean, it's amazing data. Try to understand it, try to digest it. I mean, now it's going to be, the trick is going to be using it in comparison with each other, and as well as like understanding demand for it and whatever. And then going forward, just the raw rarities themselves are going to pick up. I mean, there's some of this stuff, will be worth money just because there's none graded, just because there are no copies of it. Jordan versus Bird, I didn't check that one, but that's bound to be a rare one too. 15 copies. I mean, and the top one is a 9.6. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't have 9.8s. I bet if we organize by 9.8s, right? See if we can organize sort. No, I can't. You can sort by total. You can sort by game. You can't sort by individual number. But there's a lot of stuff that doesn't have any 9.8s. Adventures of Dino Riki has no 9.8s. Gilligan's Island has no 9.8s. Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle. This is a game I used to have. Only 7 copies, no 9.8s or 9.6s present. So, it's going to be about sifting through this data, figuring out, if you're bidding on one of these things, at auction, how long are you willing to hold it? Not Air Fortress. I just sold one. The highest score is a 9.4. There's only 8 copies of Air Fortress that were sold, and one of them, and of that, 2 9.4s, and that's the highest grade. So I just sold, the highest, one of the 2 copies of the highest grade of Air Fortress. It wasn't a game that was meaningful to me. In particular, I never played it, but for someone who loves that game, hopefully the home it went to, will be enjoying the fact that they own the highest graded Air Fortress, at least in terms of Wata, right? So there's a lot of cool shit in that regard. Alpha Mission, the highest one, is also a 9.4, and there's only 4 copies. Mega Man was one I wanted to mention. Mega Man 1. Mega Man 1, the total population was 11. Mega Man 2, 24. Mega Man 3, 33. Mega Man 4, surprisingly, only came in at 13. Now, this one seems like it's been out and around in VGA land, so maybe there's a higher number from VGA and people who just didn't convert. I don't know. In fact, Mega Man 4, the highest grade is a 9.6, which is actually mine. Okay, so it turns out I have the highest grade in Mega Man 4, I guess. I was not aware of that. Mega Man 5, there's 1.96, there's 6 9.4s. And Mega Man 6, there's 26. So these numbers are they're staggeringly low. I would have expected Mega Man 5 to be the lowest. Mega Man 4 was actually the lowest at 13. Mega Man 5 came in at 15 copies. Not what I knew to be true. I knew there would be many more Mega Man 4s than 5s. So really, really startling data that we have here. Just really, like I said, just really hard to comprehend that there's this limited amount of these guys. And it also, if there's only this many games, what has Wata been grading this whole time? If they're so backed up that they can't get any of our games out, and this is all the games that they've graded for NES, what have they been grading? Is it all PS2? Is it all Wii? I mean, are they just really like backed up doing like, Game Boy Advance? Like, what is going on here? But yeah, that's I have a Rocky and Bullwinkle 8.5. It's the third lowest graded copy. Yeah, this is. I mean, this info is nuts. If you have one of the lowest graded copies, I wouldn't be worried because clearly, like even low graded even low graded copies are drastically rare. What was Final Fight 2010? I was curious to see. Final Fights. Oh no, what is it? 2010. 2010. Oh, Super Final Fight, right? Yeah, I think it's Super Final Fight. Super. I was looking for Final Fight 2010 anyway. How many graders do they have is my question. I mean, clearly not enough. They always kind of they're hard to find people they can trust, not to just walk off of the ship. And I'm like, you should just have like a system to, for that. But yeah, I don't know. Final Fantasy. I don't know where. 2010. See if I can find Street Fighter 2010, the Final Fight. 7 copies graded for Street Fighter 2010. I've been wondering that a long time. Mighty Final Fight. What's Mighty Final Fight? Yeah. I had a Mighty Final Fight. I'm going to be sorry I sold this. Mighty Final Fight 7. I had the 9. I had the 9.6. Grunt has the 9.8. That's right. I had the 9.6 for Mighty Final Fight and I sold it. That's crazy. I should have kept that. So a lot of stuff, there's a lot of stuff you're going to look back and you're going to say, well, I should have kept that because, there's only 17 copies, but 17 is clearly a lot for these games. It's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. So, more round seal Ghostbusters than oval Ghostbusters. Interesting. Maybe worth buying that oval then. They have one and he's on maternity leave. I think that's a joke, but it's pretty funny if it is. Yeah, I'm convinced they're not working either. I don't know what they are doing. I think they're just moving their stuff. I think they're only grading. I think they're just only grading warp zones. But I don't know. RBI Baseball 2 and 3, only 1 rated of each. Yeah, RBI Baseball 2 and 3 I've actually known are really rare for a long time. Those are ones that people have been sleeping on. I think I saw in the last certified link auction one or both of those sell, and was wondering why no one was making a play for them. I think I was underbidder on one of them, but. How much do you think a Banjo-Kazooie Vhs VGA 85 sell for? Is it just the VHS or is it the VHS and the game? If it's the VHS and the game, you're talking about huge dollars. If you're talking about just the VHS by itself, I have no idea. About $500 or something. I don't know. It's by itself. It's not. If it's bundled with a game, then it's something special. But so they don't show grades less than 6.5. No, they don't show grades 6.5. Or they don't break them out. The grades less than 6.5 are bunched together as less than 6.5. So if there's a 5.5 and a 6.5, it'll show 2 as under 6.5. So. The Flintstone games with VHS for sale. That would be cool. I have a Addams Family. I think it's an Addams Family Values SNES plus the VHS bundled. That should be coming back any day now. So that'll be cool. You passed an RBI before. You're regretting it. Yeah, RBI. I'm pretty sure the last certified link had one of them, and I was like, I saw it, and I wanted it. I went for it, and I didn't get it, but it was just barely out of reach. I had to ease off of it. But it was one that it's one of those ones that, like, before this Pop Report came out, would have sold, relatively slowly for the most part. We probably are going to see an influx of sport card guys, I think, now or in the imminent future. And when that happens, I think that those games are going to sell more rapidly. The fact that the RBI Baseball 2, the highest score and the only score is an 8.5. That game is going to go unnoticed, and the RBI Baseball 3 is an 8.0. These games are going to go unnoticed unless somebody actually knows the populations. These games are going to go unnoticed at auction because they're not stellar grades, and a lot of people just filter on grades. But this is one of the reasons why you should see that, like, filtering on grades alone may not be in your best interest, and you might be filtering out one of ones. Now, maybe you still don't want to pick it up. That's fine, but, like, I think RBI Baseball 2 and 3 are pretty damn cool, and if you had both of them, you'd have one of the most ridiculously rare sets of all time. So that would just be awesome. So where does no seal fall under? There's no seal grades, dude. So none of these are all box grades only. Some of these could be no seals. They are all sealed grades because this category that you choose at the top, there is CIB and cart, but, like, the first tab is sealed. So the point is that, like, everything is sealed. So it could be an NS, it could be a C+, it could be an A++. We don't know anything about the seal grades. All we know from this graph is that we have the distribution of box grades for each of the ones that has been graded. So, yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. I guess that's a bit about it. I mean, I'm happy to answer any more questions, but, like, I mean, I think this is something that's going to have to digest for a couple of days, even for me. A lot of this stuff I knew. I mean, I had been told 240 on Super Mario 3, so 234 was, like, right there. I believed it, but seeing it in black and white also changes things a little bit. So. SNES pops will be lower. In some things, yes. I think they'd be. I don't know. I think they'll be pretty similar. You definitely have a lot of really rare SNES games, but you have a lot of rare NES games too. I think they'll be very similar. I think there's going to be certain games in SNES that are populated higher than some of the averages here. NES is their most graded system. How is that possible, though? If they only have this few games graded from NES, that can't be. I mean. I feel like that can't be. They must have more PS2s or something. But anyway, maybe if you include CIBs, because it's not worth it to grade CIBs for any later systems. So many Mario Brothers. You think that's a lot of Mario Brothers? A lot of CIBs. Well, that's because it's not worth grading CIBs for later systems. So that makes sense. But in terms of sealed, I like to talk only in terms of sealed. So I don't know what the case is for that. My guess is that for sealed only, NES would not be their highest population. But we will get that information soon. And I'm not sure what it matters anyway, but, like, we'll get information like that soon when the rest of the numbers come out. We also need to get these seal grades out because truly, 12 copies of 10-Yard Fight is interesting. But if the highest grade is a 9.4, and there's two of them, and one of them is a 9.4 A plus, and the other one is a 9.4 C. Those are two drastically different overall grades, and because of that, you sort of paint a false picture with this information, because there's actually going to be less high quality. Like, if something says 2 next to 9.4, there's nothing to say whether it's a C or an A, or so. I mean, it suggests, when you look at it, you suggest a high grade. But if it's a 9.4C, that's a VGA, like 70 or something. It's not really that great of a grade. So we will have to, like I said, we'll have to do some digestion. We'll have to, you have to take this stuff with a grain of salt, I guess. But like the overall raw numbers are very revealing, and the numbers per variant is super revealing, and so I think you have a lot of just really useful references here, and they may not be set in stone, and some of these numbers may double over the next two or 3 years as we finally get everything out in the open and graded, but most of them are not going to do that. I don't, I will be shocked if more than one or two games actually doubles from this point forward. Like, it would be very weird if Bayou Billy is at 27 and then all of a sudden goes to 54. Now, there definitely could be 27 copies of a single game found, or the Dino Ricky at 11, there could be 11 copies. There could be 2 cases of Dino Ricky found, and that would be 12 games. It still would only put us at 23. So, I mean, you might have some high grades coming out of those cases if there were cases found, and there aren't. But the point would be, you could double that guy's population and still only be at 23, less than 2 dozen. You'd still be at stupidly low numbers, and I would consequently say they'd still be really, really valuable. We talking Wata only, people. This isn't VGA Raw. That's correct. This is only Wata. I don't know what that means, but how many Othellos? Othellos. I feel like that's a very popular title to see around. Othello, 21. Should have never sold that case of Classic Concentration. Oh, I love that game. What's the population on it? I absolutely love that game. Oh, wow. You couldn't have a case of that unless somebody kept it as a case. There's only 4 copies graded, so if someone has a case, they're going to more than double the population on Classic Concentration. I must have had a 9.4, because I don't remember having a 9. Maybe I had a 9.6, actually. I think I did. Another thing that I think is at Metropolis at this point, unfortunately. Cliffhanger, 3. Clue Land, 4. Cobra Command, 4. Cobra Triangle, 5. Codename Viper, 16. I see Codename Viper everywhere. How is it only 16? Color a Dinosaur, 5. That makes sense. Commando at 18. That makes sense, too. Well, it makes sense given the other numbers. But Conan, 4. Conflict, 1. I mean, Contra, 31. I think the Haspels have like half of that. So, Contra Force, 9. Cool World, 4. 4 Cool Worlds. Man, that hurts a little bit. It means I'm not getting another Cool World. What about Captain America? Captain America and the Avengers. So, Captain America, 5 copies. That's crazy. Right now I've got 2. And there are 5 copies of Captain America out there. If you want a copy of Captain America, hit me up later. I'm willing to sell one of them. So, anyway, any chance Wata's manipulating these numbers to control value? No, I don't. I really don't think so. That would be really beyond tolerable. I think if something like that were substantiated, we'd be talking about like chaos. I certainly would never give them another dollar, and I would ask for all my money back. So, Player One says, "Good to see Wata doing something that benefits collectors, resellers, and the video game community. We are planning to release ours next year, Q1 or Q2, all platforms. Definitely going to be, definitely will be helpful. The more data, the better. I don't think that there's, I think there's plenty of room for 4 grading companies." And I think there's plenty of room for them all to have their own signature and do things their own way. That being said, I don't think it's okay for Wata to continue necessarily operating the way it's been operating. Again, this release of data, while limited and strangely limited with like removal of the seal grades and stuff like that, it is a big step forward for the community, a really, really big step forward for the community. So I applaud them for that, and I'd like to, as I've always said, I'd like to give them the benefit of the doubt. Some of what's been going on the last couple months really makes that tough to do. And what I would say is, if they could just do something to really move through their backlog, so that we don't have the excessive prioritization of people paying $500 for a warp zone over everyone else's stuff. If they could do that and they could get out the backlog and like get through that kind of sentiment, so we don't feel like we're getting walked on, I would really be happy with them again, like we were in the beginning. But like until that happens, this is a great step forward. This is a great, patch of healing for the community. This is a great step forward. This is it's great in every way. It doesn't solve the problem of all my stuff sitting at their warehouse, but like it definitely goes a long way. And I'd like to think that they are making their best effort to get through it. And if they are, then we're going to see it and we're going to appreciate it. And then with this, I think that puts them back into like somewhat of a favorable light. But they're not going to conquer their queues all in one day. And until then, I have trouble giving them my raws at this time because of that. Because I don't have any certainty on when I'm going to get them back. I'd like to get back to a point of like trust with them, with that. And like I said, this goes a long way to like mending that for the community. So I'm really happy with them for this. And it's really good. It's just not it can't stop here. There's got to be a couple other things that happen. And, if those happen, then, we can all move forward. But, this is good. Let's keep the motion going, I guess, is my sentiment to them. Let's keep the momentum of turning around and really just, I mean, for me, I just wish they would cut off warp zones so nobody's games don't come in higher priority than the ones I've already given them. So I mean that's where it comes down to for me. Funny would be someone showing 2 copies of Rollerblade Racer Wata created tomorrow. Rollerblade, that's a rare game. That's have you ever have issues with cases showing up scratched or with random problems? Yeah, I've had cases that are scratched on the inside. I don't know how it happens, but I've had to send them back. It's a problem. Quality assurance has always been one of their Achilles heels of their operations. I've mentioned it to them before. I've even offered to go work there myself to take care of the problem because it bothered me so much and because it's something that I have expertise in. Quality assurance is just absolutely horrid. There's a lot of stuff that goes out that I don't even bother sending back. My Super Mario Land 3 says it's player's choice on it. It's not. I mean, if you have eyes, you can tell it's not, so I don't have to get it corrected. I haven't bothered to send it back because I don't want to be, I don't want it locked up there for another couple months. But, like I said, this is good. If they would, they need to start with communication, no calls, no emails. If they would take a few more steps along like what they're doing right now, and releasing this on the back of that, the momentum can be, can get them back into some place where like we're not all angry. But I just think for right now we're all just like, what the fuck, and as we should be, so yeah. They need to start with community. The blame for me is live in a remote city, so it's my location's fault. I'm not sure what that means, but same city as an NFL team plays in, though. I don't know. I don't know what that means. I'm sorry. They are moving to LA, I believe it is. LA or San Diego. I don't remember. One of the two, though. They're moving to California, and they're going to have operations up and running in California, supposedly, before they disable the operations in Denver. Has Player One graded more NES than Wata? I don't know how that would be possible. I'm not privy to their data, but my guess would be like absolutely not. They haven't been around as long as Wata, so I mean, that would be like saying has Wata graded more NES than VGA, and my guess is that over 23 years, VGA still got probably a few hundred more grading records than Wata, but I don't know. I mean, these are answers that we don't have to ask for so much longer because we will be getting some clarity at some point. But yeah, I don't know. I'm really psyched by this. I think this is going to affect the market. I think you got to go out there and buy. If you want help buying, if you're looking for NES, I do have some stuff for sale. I have duplicates, and I'm willing to sell off my dupes, like my Captain America dupe. Yeah, I would urge everybody to get in before the next round of auctions starts. As soon as these next auctions end, with I think 9 days for Heritage, and then like roughly what is Comic Connect at? Comic Connect is probably in like a week. I don't remember how much longer they have. Video games. They end in 18 days. Okay, so nearly 3 weeks. So we have like 9 days and then 18 days, where we're going to have a couple great examples of there's great games in both of these upcoming auctions, and I will say for Heritage especially, and for Metropolis they both have a very large range of grades in this upcoming auction. So whereas Heritage a lot of times only wants to feature like the 9.8s and the 9.6s, they do have more. I've been seeing in the auction there's much more grade diversity. So and definitely in Metropolis as well. You might be able to find an 8.5 or a 9, and instead of paying a ridiculous amount for that 9.4 or 9.6 that's so hard to get, maybe an 8.5 is acceptable for you for your collecting purposes. And certainly in terms of investment, that 8.5 might be the third highest graded copy now, and that. So I definitely take advantage of like these upcoming auctions. Go and put some bids in now at Metropolis while everything's down at $1. And when the auction's actually going off, you'll have those. It'll let you know that like you've been outbid there, or give you notices that to remind you to come back and actually try to win some of the stuff. Like I said, off to the races soon enough. So. Anyway, I've got to go. It's been longer. I wasn't planning on doing a stream tonight, but I also wasn't planning on having Pop Reports hit. So I wanted to reach out to you guys, let you guys ask your questions. Definitely hit me up personally if you have more questions, if you have games. Go see Player One. Just like VGA has a membership cost. They have a membership cost of $49 a year, I believe he's saying right here. I will say, under 30 days, my games were back. I showed everybody yesterday. If you did not watch my video from yesterday, it's live on YouTube right now. I turned on commenting, so apparently commenting was not so great. It was not around last night. If you want to go comment on it, if you want to leave me some feedback, you want to go tell me to fuck myself, I guess. I mean, I prefer you don't do that, but I hope you have a good night, even if you are mad at me for some reason. You know, I might have a wife for that as well. So anyway, I'm just joking with y'all. I hope you guys get what you want. I hope you guys use this to help yourselves. Let me know how I can help you with it, understanding it, processing it, putting it into play, and just having a good time with it. So, yeah, thanks for hopping on. Thank you for being here. I'll post this so you can watch it back in case you missed any of the riveting discussion. But yeah, thanks guys. Really happy to see this. This was a big event tonight. It's important that the market recognizes it. So yeah, let's go.